We shift our focus now to news from Ukraine. Now, the Ukrainian military has launched drone strikes on two districts in Russia's Belgorod region. Two civilians have been reportedly killed, leaving one injured. Authorities have confirmed that a drone hit a car in Beryozovka of the Belgorod region, leading to two fatalities. Moreover, another drone exploded in Moskiono, where it wounded a man who was then moved to a local hospital in serious condition. The attack also damaged a private house, a household structure, and a vehicle. Officials now continue to assess the extent of the damage as security measures remain in place across the region. Meanwhile, in a separate development, the Russian Defense Ministry has reported heavy losses for Ukrainian forces in the Krasnoarmysk area of eastern Ukraine. The ministry has said that over 260 Ukrainian troops were eliminated yesterday. As of now, Russian units are advancing in the eastern part of Krasnoarmysk and the Donetsk district, while also clearing Rovnoy of remaining forces. And Martin Saez, who's an international affairs expert, joins us live from Ecuador. Well, thank you, Martin, for joining us here at NewsX World. Now, I would start by asking you, how do you see these shellings that are continuing despite that the peace plan that's being drafted by Trump is in the working?
I think the best for Ukraine right now would be to settle down and to accept the deal, because right now we're seeing a lot of falls in Ukrainian territory, and we're seeing that the Russians are getting strengthened. And I think right now the issue here is that Zelensky does not want to give up on his political career, and also he thinks that this deal is not in favor of Ukrainian interests. But to be honest, like, the reality is that if Ukraine does not accept the deal, it will end up very bad. Like, the Russians will start invading more territory and claiming more territory that does not belong to them. So I think it's critical to settle in a deal.
All right, and do you expect for Russia to be agreeing to the peace plan?
Well, Putin just said that he's willing to accept it. Like, he had like the meeting with Trump and they already talked about its different issues and each one's interests. So right now, I think Russia is ready to accept the deal. Right now, the question is whether Ukraine is going to accept it or not.
But Zelensky has pitched that he's favorable to the revised peace plan, and there are also going to be talks now that will be held even before Witkoff reaches Moscow.
Yeah, hopefully Trump will get these two leaders together, and they will settle each party's interest, whether it is territorial, geopolitical. And I think right now Russia is more focused on conserving the territories that were taken before, like Crimea and the Donetsk region. And right now I think Ukraine's interest is not to give up on more land and to give up on natural resources. Like, the Americans were asking for a lot of natural resources in order to support the Ukrainian war, which is detrimental for Ukraine.
All right. What, in your opinion, are also some of the sticking points in this 28-piece plan, and if there are any sides that are going to be conceding?
So right now the question is, what specific region will be held by Russia and Ukraine? Ukraine is willing to accept the old territories, to give up on the old territories, but right now the territories that were conquered by Russia in the last war are undisputed, and Ukraine is really not wanting and not willing to give up on that.
All right, do stay on with us, Martin. Thank you for sharing your opinion on that. But we have some news now from Belarus. Viewers, Belarus says it's ready to engage with NATO countries to strengthen security across Eastern Europe. Belarusian defense official Valery Revenko stated that 10 NATO member states are currently accredited in Belarus and the country is open to explaining its positions while also hearing the views of Western partners. He emphasized that Minsk aims to build dialogue, reduce tension and work toward consensus on regional stability. Revenko also highlighted ongoing disagreements with the West, saying Western nations tried to pressure Belarus, isolate it and impose economic and political costs. He made it clear that Belarus rejects those attempts and continues to follow its own policies focused on good neighborliness and regional security. Despite the strained ties, Revenko said that Belarus still maintains communication channels with the European Union and NATO members. He stressed that Minsk remains committed to stability in Eastern Europe and open to dialogue where mutual understanding is possible. I want to bring back Martin into the discussion here. Martin, do you think that this is possible for Belarus to join NATO at all, given the time and again he's taken a stance that's against the European Union's, with the latest being his assertion that he will continue to import oil and gas from Russia, given the cheap rates that it gets it from.
First of all, we need to remember that Belarus has been a long-standing ally from Russia from the beginning of the fall of the beginning of the Russian Federation, and Belarus has been very aligned with Russian interests ideologically and economically. Right now that Belarus is watching that the new situation worldwide, the new economy, that Russia has been affected by these sanctions by the European Union, Belarus is starting to wake up to the new situation that they're going to lose a lot if they don't align with European interests too. They're like in the middle of two different worlds. So in one side, Belarus is trying to keep their relationship with Russia, which has been long-standing good. But at the same time, they want to be part of the European Union because they know the high cost of being basically an economical and political enemy of the European Union. So they would like to be part of NATO in order to have taking for granted their economical and stability and their geopolitical stability. So right now, I think Belarus is playing a game of trying to be a good neighbor in the two sides.
All right. Do you think, in fact, why do you think it is that Minsk is largely now being subjugated by Russia?
So basically, because of the actual situation, I mean, starting by the war, starting by changes in the geopolitical spectrum, Donald Trump is starting its worldwide economical war, and they are watching that Russia is losing a lot. So basically, this strategy of Belarus is more economical than ideological. They can be ideologically aligned with Russia, but they're seeing that a new ally that is the West can be very beneficial for their interest.
All right. Well, for now, thanks, Martin, for joining us here at NewsX World. And with that, we shift our focus. Now, in Kyiv, Okansa and Markarova, former ambassador to the United States, has been appointed as President Zelensky's new advisor on Ukraine's reconstruction and investment. According to President Zelensky, Markarova will help strengthen Ukraine's financial stability, improve its business climate, attract investment, and plan for long-term recovery in collaboration with strategic partners. Zelensky also emphasized that Markarova's expertise will support Ukraine's rebuilding efforts as the country continues to defend itself and plan for future economic growth. Now, he's also emphasized, in fact, that Markarova's expertise will help rebuild the country that's being devastated from 4 years of war, and former ambassador to the US has been appointed now as Zelensky's new advisor. And now moving on, viewers, flood waters continued to rise in Sri Lanka's capital Colombo, prompting authorities to evacuate thousands of residents from low-lying areas. The authorities have said that at least 153 people on the island nation have been killed by Cyclone Ditwa, with 191 others missing and more than 500,000 affected nationwide. Government officials have urged residents to heed warnings and evacuation orders. Visuals from the city's flooded streets showed army vehicles navigating submerged roads, rescuers using boats, and residents wading through waterlogged roads. More than 78,000 people have been moved to nearly 800 relief centers, mostly set up in schools. That's all that we have time for. Keep